Welcome again to Tune Up Your Typeform. You're up for some fun tuning of typeforms, like a show that you may remember from the old days. You being us your typeform, we'll tune it up. So what's the agenda for today?
We're going to meet the tuners. We're going to tell you why you're here. Very important. We're going to show you the forms that have been tuned up. And as I said, we will have time for Q&A at the very end as well.
Now, for the tuners, we are joined by experts, people that know Typeform in and out, that have been created a lot of forms, that have talked to customers, that know all the cool features. And the first one is James, the awesome community manager at Typeform that you probably saw on other webinars. This time he's joining on the other side, helping tune up all your Typeforms. He's using other tools beyond Typeform, such as Zapier and Make, to do a bunch of automation. And we also asked to all awesome tuners what is their favorite festive tune of the moment, I will say, because this is kind of the end of the holiday, the end of the year holiday season. And he's selected Merry Christmas, Xmas, Everybody by Slade. We probably should send you the playlist afterwards with all the tunes that our tuners have selected. We also join by awesome Susie. Grace?
I didn't know if you were doing it or if I was doing it, Nico.
Sorry. Go for it.
Yeah, we're joined by Susie, our video production lead here at Typeform. You may well recognize her face and her voice from the Help Center videos and YouTube videos. Susie's a big fan of using logic in her forms. And she picked The Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams as her festive tune, which is a good one.
We have another tuner to present, or should I present him, is the amazing and wonderful Des. He's the most active member of our community at the moment and definitely a champion of Typeform. He has built a lot of different hacks and a lot of different things using Google Sheets and Document Studio. Really encourage you to give it a try and look for his content. And he picked as a tune Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues. Pretty exciting.
Good choice. Finally, we're going to be joined by Kenzie, who's new to the team for 2024. She's our Senior Product Marketing Manager. She's a big fan of video answers, which is also new for 2024. And her tune is Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee, which is also a favorite of mine. And a quick shout out to Ash, who is another one of our awesome community champions, who couldn't be with us today, but he definitely wanted to be tuning. So he's not feeling too great. So we're sending all our best wishes to Ash. And he has promised us that he is going to tune a form. So watch this space because we will share what he's done later on. But that's it for the tuners.
Yeah, so you've been talking about tuners, you've been talking about tuning, but why are we here? What are we going to do?
The most important question. Well, we're here to help you, hopefully. We want to help with improving form completion rates, help you to build more engaging user experiences with your Typeforms, help you collect that all-important information from customers and clients, and also streamline your processes. So really help you fit Typeform into the wider workflow.
Yeah, hopefully with this, you're going to see some example, you're going to get inspired, and you can reproduce this at home. So what we want to show you really is how to make your form a bit more sparkly, make it shine, make it not just the boring form that you get when you get started, right? You make it yours. You should ask the right question to the right person at the right time. The whole Typeform experience is to make this conversational. We're done with the forms that just be like email, name, address. Like now we make this a whole conversation like you will do in real life. And then finally, to make this whole thing worth it, we want you to be able to integrate this into your existing marketing tech stack, or should I say MarTech, right? So we want to show you how you can integrate this with all your different tools. Now, for this, we're joined by 4 amazing brands that are agreed to be part of this experiment.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to Hunter Hunter, Black Band, Woodhull Wellness, and Beyond ADHD for submitting their forms for this workshop. We had a bunch come through, and we would have loved to have helped with all of them. But these were the 4 that have been picked out. And we're really excited to show you what the team have done.
Should we get started?
I think we should. It's enough from us. Let's get tuning.
Let's get to it. Exactly. And first, we're going to start with Hunter Hunter. Our tuner for this project is James. And if you're not familiar with Hunter Hunter, they're based out of Australia, and they're a website for events and recommendation of things to do when you go down under and you're looking for good places to hang out. Right now, they have a form where event organizers, companies can submit their event to the calendar, but they're challenged with different things. The clients are not filling up the form. They would like to see how to introduce a payment gateway. They would like to charge people for submitting the event, and overall make the form a bit more friendly. Do you see the form how it is right now? But let's hear directly from Alisa, who is the founder and director at Hunter Hunter.
Hi, my name is Liz McCulloch. I manage a website called hunterhunter.com.au, which is a digital lifestyle publication for the Newcastle and Hunter regions. Essentially, what we do is produce content about these regions and push it out to our audience. Most of this content relates to food, restaurants, cafes, bars, and restaurants. The other type of content we produce quite a lot of is about events, and this content sits within our What's On calendar. Businesses pay to be featured within this, and currently this is arranged by a business emailing us the details of the event and one of our team uploading the details into our system. Our What's On calendar is one of our most viewed pages on the site, and I'm wanting to increase the value of this page even more so by encouraging more businesses to upload their events, so it becomes more comprehensive and has a good range of relevant events for our audience to browse through as easily as possible. To help streamline this process, I have created a form that will allow businesses to enter their event details into a form. They then submit it to be reviewed. It's then approved, and then our team uploads the event into our system. As a part of this form, I would also like to include a payment gateway system of some sort, which will allow us to charge the businesses for this service automatically.
That sounds very exciting. Thanks, Alisa, to be part of this. Now let's hear from James, hiding in the calendar, advent calendar.
Hey everybody, it's James here. I'm here to tune a Typeform, specifically the Typeform of Hunter Hunter, which is an event listings website for Newcastle and Hunter Valley in Australia. This is their form, which basically allows people who are running events to submit their event for the website. It's pretty simple. It has a clean look. This is the original form. And so you go through, it has information about sort of promoting the website to start with, and then a very simple data collection about the event. So we can put some details in here, location, and then the event description. And then it collects the website address, and then you submit, and your details are submitted, and your event will be live on the pages within 24 hours. So the first thing I did was head to the design panel. Now, you don't always have to redesign the form first, but I just wanted to kind of stamp Hunter Hunter's brand onto it just because I love it and I love the way it looks. One quick and easy way of doing that is through brand kits. So what you can do is you can actually have Typeform brand your form based on your website's branding. So you can match it really, really quickly. So this is what I did. I just copied in here the URL, and there we are. It automatically pulls everything in. So it pulls in the colors, the color scheme from the website, even the logo appears here. And then what you can do is you can create themes based off of the branding. So you go in here and you'll see everything's set up. So you can have questions, answers, button text, background, etc. are all customized. The great thing about this is once you've created this, you can reuse this on any of your Typeforms. So once I'd applied that branding, I wanted to go through and tweak some of the questions. In the previous form, it the questions were just listed. They weren't they weren't written as questions. So I addressed that to start with. And I also started to change some of the question types to make things easier for people to fill in. For example, the date of your event, I added that as a date question. So you can see here, you can change the date format of that, which is very cool. The location, before it was just kind of free text. In this case, I've added an address block. Again, the website link, before it was just a free text. This one, now it's formatted as a web address. So that makes sure that in terms of data quality, that people enter it properly. And then I decided to add this extra question. This allows people to kind of self-serve and personalizes a bit more their experience. So depending on which one they select there, they'll get a different thank you screen, one for Hunter Valley, one for Newcastle. One of the things that Alyssa said was that it would be nice to be able to take payment and upsell their sort of premium listing service, which is where editorial coverage is given to the events. So here I used logic basically to route people to different outcomes depending on what they select. So if somebody selects yes, I want it, then they go through the kind of the payment steps. If they select no, they don't want it, then it goes straight to the end. And if they select maybe or I'm not sure, then it goes to a question that collects their email address. You can automatically send a response via Typeform. So I've set up a follow-up where people can, when the answer is maybe yes, send me more details, you can send an email, even piping in data from the Typeform. So the idea being that once they've had a look at the information here, and they'll be interested in clicking through, I've added a hidden field there, so that will pass through the email address of the person so that you know who they are when they fill out this form. So yes, if they were to select maybe from here, they would be taken through that route. If they would be to select yes, they would go through, select the type that they want, and then basically on here, so here for the options, I've added a variable to, I've added the amount to the price variable. So let's say for a long form article, it's going to cost $100. And for a short form, it's going to cost 50. I've added that there as a calculation, and that will put that through into the payment block when the person gets that far. So with regards to the payment block, let me show you how that works here. So yeah, you can set that up here. Again, I've piped in information here. So I've piped in the information about which particular service that they're going for. You can select whatever currency you want. I guess they're going to want Australian dollars. This will update based on that price variable, as I mentioned. Again, there's other customization options. So in terms of workflows, I decided to add a few connections that I thought might be helpful for a listing website like Hunter. For example, on the photo upload question, where event organizers are going to upload their photos, I've added a connection to Google Drive so that when those photos are added, they automatically go through here into this repository, and whoever's managing it on the end of Hunter can get quick access to those to upload to the website. Likewise, if you want to connect, if you want to take it a stage further, you can actually connect up to Google Docs, where that information from the form gets piped into an existing Google Doc. So I've set that up via Zapier. Here you can see from new entry, append text to a document. So you just put in the details of your Google Doc, and then you select the fields from your Typeform. So it passes it through to here. And as you can see, this information is coming straight from the Typeform, and it's just added to the existing post or draft. So that way, whoever's writing it or editing it can just come in and have a look. One other thing you could do if you really want to geek out is to connect up the Typeform submission to your CMS. Now, I don't know which CMS Hunter is using, or maybe they have their own bespoke one, but if you were using kind of an off-the-shelf website builder like Webflow or Squarespace, you can actually connect it up to your Typeform using Zapier. And we have this new functionality within the Connect tab in Typeform, where essentially through the magic of AI, you can just write what you want to happen and it will suggest a flow for you. So I've said when the form is submitted, send the description of the event to Webflow. It might not be Webflow, like I say, it could be any other website builder. Here we are. Here's the suggested workflow. So one of the other things that Hunter x Hunter wanted to do was to improve the reach of the form. One thing that you can do for that is to embed it in your web page. So there are various different options here. I quite like the pop-out ones. So you can have the event listing form slide out like this. Very customizable and a great way of getting people to see your form from your website. Another thing you could try is email campaigns. So maybe it's a case of re-engaging with people who have listed before. You could send out the form embedded in an email. So you can start embedding here and you'll get walked through the process of copying the embed code into your email marketing tool, whether that's MailChimp or HubSpot or whatever. So that's it. Here's the finished Typeform, and I hope you like it. I hope it makes a difference to your completion rates. I think the form looks really good already, but yeah, hopefully this kind of cranks things up a bit and takes things to the next level.
Well, thank you, James, for this packed, tuned up, really. I didn't want to watch it earlier to not get spoiled and be as excited as I am right now. There's a lot of things in this, a lot of gems. I hope you're able to pick it up. As a summary, what happened? First thing that James did was the matching of the brand, making sure that the article, the logo, the colors were standing up. So it looks like a Hunter x Hunter form. Also change the question types, because with this you get for free, you get the validation. So if the website URL is not a website URL, it's going to tell you about this. And it makes the whole input a lot easier. Adding a way to upload an image, and we saw a lot of barbecue image. I think James is into organizing barbecue. You can also collect payment directly in the form thanks to our Stripe integration. And then this whole thing about the different end screen variants. So depending on the experience that people were looking for, they have a customized experience. Loved it. Thank you. Time to move on to our next tune.
That was awesome. Yes, next up to be tuned, we have Black Band, and this one is being tuned up by Susie, our video editor. So what's Black Band been up to? Well, first up, they are doing some very cool things in the travel industry. So it's a personalized concierge service. And Terry from Black Band got in touch with us to say that he'd like some help with making the form a little bit more streamlined and really aligning it with the customer journey that he's been putting together. So let's hear a little bit from Terry, who is the founder and CEO of Black Band.
Hi, Typeform team. My name is Terry Opong, and I'm the founder and CEO of Black Band. And I'm truly honored that you selected us to be part of this form optimization workshop. At Black Band, we handle the intricate details of our clients' most meaningful experiences, whether that's connecting with their heritage, creating unforgettable memories, or pursuing new opportunities. As a Ghanaian American, I founded Black Band because I understand and understood firsthand the challenges of bridging cultures and navigating unfamiliar territories. Being chosen for this workshop means so much to us because our client journeys begin the moment they first reach out. That initial interaction needs to be seamless and thoughtful as the experiences that we create. I believe that transforming our intake process with Typeform will help us better understand and serve our clients from that very first touch point. I'm excited to work with our team, your team, and create something that truly reflects the care and attention we put into every aspect of our service. Thank you for this opportunity, and I can't wait to get started. We handle the details, so you handle the rest.
I love it. Very excited for this one. And I see that Terry is in the chat. So let's hope that we have done you proud, Terry. So here we go. Let's hear from Susie on how
Hey, my name is Susie, and I am the video educator at Typeform. And today I'm going to tune up this Typeform. So this form is an intake form for a travel concierge. So this will be a form that people receive once they've expressed some interest in booking trip or an experience with Black Band. So the company actually has exclusive trips to Ghana. And so this is for people looking for a trip there. So I'm going to take you through the original form quickly, and then I'll show you how I tuned it up. So the first thing I really noticed at this form is that it's quite long, 39 questions, which isn't very short. Also, throughout the form, there are statement questions here with information about cultural curiosity, cultural experience, travel behavior, and insights. So there's a lot of information in this form. And then at the very end, people are also invited to schedule a call once they've filled in all the information. So this is a mix of practical information like age, travel preferences, but also a few more questions about experiences with Ghana and what people are expecting from the trip. So this is the original form, and now let me take you to the tuned up version. So as you can see, I didn't change the design too much, but I did change it a little bit. So let's start there. As you can see, I've added their logo here, so just the icon, to the welcome screen, and I've also shortened up this welcome screen text just to make it a bit more punchy. And another thing I did was I added the logo in the corner. So this customer is on a basic plan. So what that allows you to do is to upload your logo. So if you go into the design of your form, if you go to edit, the option to add your logo here, so that just makes it possible to have your logo appear on every page right in the top corner. If you don't have access to a basic plan, so if you're on a free plan, for example, another idea is to upload the logo as an image. So I've done that here and changed the layout. So that's just another example I wanted to show of how you can incorporate your brand in your form. But in terms of the rest of the design, I kept it quite simple. I think it was nice and pretty streamlined, so I left it like that. I think the biggest change I made here is I reduced the form from 39 questions to 22 questions. So I was able to cut that basically in half. One of the things I did was I did remove those statement questions that they had in there. I thought the information was super interesting and really useful, but I think maybe at this stage of the process, if you don't want to lose people during the intake form, I think maybe that's something that's better to send after, because it is really useful information, but maybe not necessarily within the form itself, because then it ends up making it a bit longer. Another thing I did was I grouped some of the questions. So I added a multi-question page to a couple of the questions. So instead of having name, email, and last name on separate questions, I've added them all to one. That also makes things go a little bit faster. I did the same for where people are currently based. This was actually previously a address question, which is fine. That is only one question, but I felt like maybe at this stage, it was a bit too much to be asking for their full address. And I think for them, what's more important right now is to know which city and state people are based in. So I left that just those key questions here. And so the first part of the form is really just some basic questions about travel. Are you traveling alone? Are you traveling in a group? How many people are you traveling with? And then later on, there's more specifics. So I've also added some multi-question pages here. So if people have booked a flight to Ghana already, for example, if they have yes here, then they can just skip this next question about getting assistance to find a flight. And if no, then they can answer this question or not. Same with accommodation. If they have booked their accommodation, then they'll go here to this question of preferred mode of transportation. If they haven't, then we can ask for a bit more specifics to help them book their accommodation. And then at the end here, they have a calendar question. And so I felt like because they are asking people to schedule a call and they want to get on the phone with people already, that can also help reduce the number of questions that you're asking in the initial form, because if you're getting on a call with them already, you can just talk through some of those things in person or on the phone. So those are the changes that I made to the form itself. Now, if we go to the logic tab, as you can see, I've added a bit of logic here. So nothing crazy, just some basic skipping questions. So for example, the one I mentioned here, if people are traveling alone, then they'll skip the question about how many people they're traveling with and go directly to the budget question of how much people are willing to spend per person on the trip. So a lot of the logic in this sense is pretty practical, nothing too crazy, just making sure that question that people go to makes sense for the previous question that they just answered. The more interesting thing that I did here was I actually added some segmentation. So if we click here and scroll down, I think I added it here. So if their budget is less than 1,000 or between 1 and 3,000, I've actually assigned them to a segment. So this basically lets you control a little bit how you're bucketing customers. If they are medium quality or low quality or high quality, you can do that all here. And if they're willing to spend anywhere between 3,000 upwards of 5,000 on their trip, then we are adding them to the high quality segment because these are the customers that we want. They're big spenders. They want to spend money with us. And then we've also said here, if people have a travel date already, we're assigning them to the high quality segment because they have high intent. So we know that they're more likely to use our services because they already have travel dates in mind. So I've done this throughout the form and a couple of other questions, but I think these two are the most important ones. And that's just a great way to be able to bucket some of your leads coming in between high quality and medium quality and even low quality if you want to add a segment for that. Finally, so this brand, Black Band, they did inform us that they use HubSpot. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and mapped their form to HubSpot. So one of the things I did was I added a custom property for lead quality in HubSpot, and then I was able to map the segment to HubSpot. And then the rest here is just the classic name, email, and location. And this will give us all the key information that we need to store this contact in our CRM so that if we need to contact them again, we have all that information there. So if we go over to HubSpot, you can see I've done a couple of test responses. So here, this lead quality is really useful because it gives you a really quick glance of who's high quality, who's medium quality without having to go through all of their answers. So if we scroll over here, we can see all the information that we've mapped from Typeform. And here's the budget question, which is what we based the high and medium quality leads on. So that's working perfectly. And so we're really able to just get a really quick and easy way to connect our leads, put them in HubSpot, and then be able to follow up faster. So that is my tuned up form for Typeform.
Thank you. That's brilliant. I see Terry is pretty happy with that so far in the chat. So to sum up, first of all, this is the tuned up form. Susie reduced the number of questions and added that logic branching to really streamline the flow of everything. And then, of course, she applied the lead qualification and segmentation and mapped everything to HubSpot. So all of those results are being sent in the right way. So I think that's a pretty successful tune-up there. Thank you very much, Susie, for that one. Shall we move on, Nico, to the next one?
Yeah, definitely. Our third tune-up for today is the Beyond ADHD organization, and Des was our tuner here. So let's look at what they have. So Beyond ADHD is an organization that helps patients, people that are looking to know if they have or they have symptoms, assess how far they are on the spectrum, and provide some treatments and solutions for them. Right now, they have the quiz that you see here, which is already complex and goes through a lot of different questions, but they are looking to overall improve the user experience and try to see how they can convert the answers into leads. So for this, I wanted to hear from Dr. Hanif, who is the CEO of the Beyond ADHD company, and he is going to tell us more about his form.
Hey folks, my name is Hanif. I'm the CEO of Beyond ADHD. At Beyond ADHD, our mission, I guess, is to provide affordable, accessible, and compassionate online ADHD assessment, diagnosis, and treatment. Our Typeform quiz is kind of a key entry point for people seeking clarity about their symptoms. And the challenge, of course, is making sure that the form is able to guide them through these first steps, that it feels engaging, non-judgmental, and easy to navigate. Super excited about this workshop. See how we can fine-tune that form and or that quiz in this case, so that people coming to Beyond ADHD can see if this is indeed the right place for them to explore and hopefully resolve some of their challenges.
Des did on your form how he tuned
Good
it.
afternoon, folks. We're going to do a review of the quiz that's here at Beyond ADHD Canada. You'll see here on their website, they have a bunch of information about their diagnostic, their assessment. And what we're going to do is take their quiz to start with. You'll notice it continues in the theme of the colors. We picked the different age groups. I'm going to select the 18-year-old, and you'll notice it tells me to submit. So this is saying it's a second form that's going to follow this one. This is something that will change this button text to go in another direction. Change the wording. You'll notice here that on their form they have no question numbers and no letter on the choices. That's a good thing. I'm just going to go through and select some answers as we transition through these questions just to see how we end up with submit my answers. And it tells me that if my score is 4 or higher, I should schedule an appointment. And down below, it's less than 4. We should go through and connect a primary physician. So I'm going to split these in the form into two different endings. One, if your score is 4 or higher and you need to talk to somebody, and a second one that will provide more information, send them towards their primary care physician. Okay, so let's go into the form and take a look at what we have here. If I go to the pieces, what I have is you can see I have the 2 forms down here. What I'm going to go through and do is go into the language areas, the system messages, and on the very first form, instead of having the submit button read submit, I'm going to place it as continue. So I'm going to change it so that it shows up here as continue instead of submit from that first form. We'll put that in, and then that will go to the various pieces here. Not a lot of details to worry about on this particular form. So let's take a look at that adult form or the older person's form. Short number of questions going through. They had one ending. I've gone through and I've created a second ending. So what we've done here is to say, if your score is over 4, okay, then you should go through and you should book here. You should book an appointment now. Go and do this at the ending. And then if they are lower than 4, okay, what I've done is say they're welcome to do this, but also I've put in a link to the services they offer at their FAQ page, as well as their contact form for more information, just to give them another way to connect in here, because there's nothing else that's apparent to connect these people back to the website. So that's all we've done is add these 2 little forms in. Then what we've done in the logic space is to go in. I don't want to show that. My apologies, clicking the wrong links again today. In the branching and segmentation down here at the bottom, what I've done is put in a rule that says if highly consistent, the variable is greater than 2, then go to this first component, and that should be greater than or equal to 4. I'll change that. It's greater than or equal to is the choice. If it's greater than or equal to 4, then go to that ending. Otherwise, go to the lower ending, go to ending B. So we've done those, made those slight changes. There we have the details. We'll publish the form to make certain that it is in place. So now what that's done has got the piece where it's going to split into the 2 different endings. So if I go back and we preview this at this point in time, and if I say rarely, sometimes, rarely, times, you should watch this video at twice the speed, it'll be faster. Okay, you'll notice it's less than 4, so therefore I now have the ability to go through and I can connect to the fact page, or I can connect to the form that we have to go through and click the link. So that goes through and that pulls in the details. So at least that's getting us into this perspective of keeping us in a logical path and giving them something to deal with. Okay, now let's take a look at the longer form for the younger folk. And we've done the same thing in terms of getting through their logic. We've created a separate form for them. So basically, if their scores are 13 or lower, they recommend you talk to your family doctor. So if both of these scores are 13 or lower, then this page will show up. Otherwise, they'll be looking at going and seeing a different version of the page, which says one of the scores is higher than 13, you should go through and you should schedule an assessment. So this is all we've done in terms of making these two work here. Let's look at the logic. We'll get the right page today. And if I go into the branching and calculations, they've got their rules all set up. And down to the bottom, what we've done is say, okay, if hyperactivity is lower or equal to 13 and inattention is lower or equal to 13, then go to the one that says both are lower. Otherwise, go to ending B, which is the higher results to book the pieces in there. So that's all that we've done in terms of making the logic on these two work. So we've split them out at this point. So let's take a look at what this form now looks like. If I just refresh and call this page back up again, I have continue. I'm going to choose I'll choose the longer version of the form. You'll notice it says continue here instead of submit. Calls up the next form, and then we're going through. And one of the things that you'll notice, and this is where for me it showed up as a little bit of cognitive dissonance that we can talk about in a little bit of time. You'll notice that some of these have no images, some have images on the left, some have images on the right-hand side when they show up. And it's not a pattern that is noticeable throughout this. So I'm not quite certain whether this is intentional by the folks doing the creation of this particular form, but we'll just go through and finish it off. And almost there, almost there. I do believe, there we go, we can submit our answers. Okay, so at least one of my scores was higher than 13. So therefore I should go through and have this book now to book an appointment. So the logic on the form puts me here. Now I will admit that I did not have the actual image that they had on the other version of the ending. So I apologize to the firm on that. But what you can see is that we've now managed to put this logic in. One thing that we notice in this form is that, and this can be, with respect to privacy as we're working through this, is that there's nothing in here that collects email address or identifiers. So we can't really go through and have a follow-up with the leads that may come through this particular form. Something to consider is that if somebody is interested and they want to know more, you could have a link in here that says, would you like some more information from us? Give us your email and say if yes, take them to another form, ask them for their email address and their first name so that you can send them some more information. Just another little piece that could tune this up a little bit more. So wasn't a lot to do on this one, just a little bit in terms of segmentation in the logic and changing the button to submit and to a continue button so that when people get to that point, it's not obvious that you're jumping form to form. That's it. That's all. I think that's where we're going to stop today. And hopefully that's got some value for the firms.
Well, thank you so much, Des. That was, again, a lot of things to look at, a lot of different moving pieces. But as a summary, if you want to reproduce this at home, you have ways to customize the text and of the buttons so people understand better where they are in the flow. They know if there's a next step or not. There were some changes done also on the logic and the scoring. So you get to have a personalized ending, a personalized experience at the end and with different links. This is exactly what we do later with different outcomes depending on the assessment, and adding links and contact forms at the end of the form as well, so people can take the next action on their assessment. So I hope you like this. Now we're moving to the next and the last of the day.
That's right. Final one to be tuned is for Woodhull Wellness. And I think Molly from Woodhull is in the chat too, which is great. This one is being tuned up by Kenzie. So let's have a look and see what needed tuning. So Woodhull Wellness is a platform that is helping to deliver in-person and online sessions and share practices around wellness for employees. And so they have this client questionnaire that they submitted to be tuned up. So some of the challenges they're facing were people not finishing the survey, finding that there's maybe too many barriers to entry, and also wanting to have some help with integrating it into their workflows as well. So let's hop over and hear from Molly, who is the founder of Woodhull Wellness.
Hey everybody, Molly Woodhull here. I am the founder of a corporate wellness company called Woodhull Wellness. We provide mindfulness, meditation, and realistic self-care programming for people in corporations globally. And we have a questionnaire, it's called the Company Profile Questionnaire. And this is a questionnaire that I send to potential clients. So before I work with somebody, I need to understand where they're coming from, how many clients they have, what previous wellness programs have looked like, what they're willing to invest, or if they have a budget, what their pain points have been in the past in terms of mental health and well-being with their employees, or maybe even pain points around participation. I don't know if I mentioned why they'd be interested in working with Woodhull Wellness. That's important. So I want to lead them to thinking about questions that we're going to talk about. I want to kind of understand where they're coming from and get a foundational understanding of where they are in terms of how serious they are for investing their dollars into our programming. And I want to kind of make them excited about working with us. I want them to feel that Woodhull Wellness is legitimate, because we are. We work with people all over the world. And I want them to feel almost excited and ready to answer the questions in real life. And I think that's about it. And I think it could just be much better. So I'm excited to learn from the experts at Typeform. I'm excited, or hopefully everybody else learned something along the way. So I'm sending love and kindness in your direction, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Molly, for sharing that context. Let's have a look and see what Kenzie did with your form.
Hi there, I'm Kenzie and I'm a product marketing manager here at Typeform, and today I'm going to be tuning a lead generation form for Woodhull Wellness, a company that offers employee wellness programming. I am really inspired by their mission, and I'm excited to help them refine this form to ensure that they can reach as many businesses as possible. First, I'm going to be walking you through their original form that they have been using, and then I'm going to show you the updates I've made to optimize it. The creator of this form shared that they have been having issues getting completed submissions. And one common reason for this is that you can just have simply too many questions. Like any form, it's essential that we're prioritizing the most important and actionable questions, making sure that that respondent is having the most seamless experience. Ultimately, the goal of this form is to encourage respondents to schedule a call. So it's really critical that they're reaching this final step. That means we need to make this form simple, fast, and intuitive so that they get here and actually schedule that call. So overall, my recommendation is going to be to streamline and consolidate some of these open-ended questions to remove some friction and make it easier for them to reach that final step. That way we can address any deeper questions and get more understanding during the call itself. In the updated form, I've made key adjustments to increase the response rate. The first is reducing the amount of questions from 16 to 11. Next, I reviewed all of the questions copy for clarity and repetition. And what I noticed is that there were a lot of open-ended questions, making the form feel longer and potentially even intimidating for users. I identified alternatives to these questions formats. First was switching some of the open-ended questions to multiple choice questions. I believe this simplifies the decision-making process for respondents, and it also provides some guided options. They might not necessarily know what to put, and if they feel as though they have to put in time and effort into that long form open-ended response, they might not fill it out, especially if it's required. So to add some neutrality, I also randomized the multiple choice question. I also converted 2 of the longer form open questions over to a video form. So like I said, sometimes those long form questions can be a bit intimidating, and some of these felt a little bit denser in terms of the output. Specifically question number 6, asking about the larger current wellness program as well as participation rates. That's a pretty dense question. Similarly, speaking about what challenges your employee engagement, retention, and workplace culture are facing feels like a pretty big question to try to tackle. And so what I did was I created a very conversational video form to make this feel a little bit more approachable. I'm going to play you the question, and then I will speak to why I have selected this and how a respondent might approach it. Before scheduling a call, I'd love to learn more about your organization's wellness journey. What types of programs or resources do you currently have, or have you tried in the past? Were they effective? Did they achieve the participation and outcomes that you were aiming for? And if this is your first time exploring a wellness program, that is absolutely fine. Share what you're hoping to accomplish by introducing one to your team. If you're comfortable, feel free to record a video response. There are no wrong answers. And if now isn't a good time, we can absolutely discuss everything over the phone by scheduling a call on the next page. Thank you so much for your interest in our wellness program. I'm really excited to connect and explore how we can support your team together. So the reason I did this is because video is such a powerful tool. It's going to encourage your respondents to provide more natural, authentic responses with minimal effort. And the good news is that any responses are transcribed so that you can easily review them. Even better, your respondents are still going to have the option to submit text in the event that they don't want to record themselves. If you want to add a video or replace any question with a video, again, you can simply hop over to content and select it from the question options provided. Within the video editor, you can actually record this directly within the platform, or you can upload a video of your choosing. You can also use this to select a thumbnail. You can even trim your video. So a lot of flexibility here. And what's even more amazing about this feature is that we have a new Smart Insights feature that's currently in beta that will take all of those open-ended video responses and essentially aggregate and pull out themes so that you don't have to look at every single individual response. Of course, my form isn't published and I don't have any responses, so I don't have anything populated, but I thought it was really important to call out. I also made some of the questions throughout the form optional because sometimes forcing a response can deter a respondent early on in this engagement funnel. For example, budget can be a sensitive question. So instead of forcing a required response, I turned it into an optional multiple choice questions with ranges and an unsure option. This is going to lower the barrier for those respondents and also provide you that valuable context that you need so that once you do get them on the phone, you can dig in a little bit deeper on what they are willing to spend. Next, I'll touch on design. While the previous design was really clean, it did lack some visual elements, which can significantly improve engagement. So I added a few branded elements as well as some on-brand images. You can insert and add images or video directly into any question. I also added some light personalization by pulling responses collected earlier in the form using the @ symbol. So here's a quick example. If you just type in @ you can select the data that you want to populate into the form. So in this example, I used the first name to make it feel a little bit more tailored to that respondent. And it obviously creates a little bit more of an engaging and inviting interaction. And then for the final step related to scheduling, I also pre-populated fields with any known data to reduce the amount of effort that respondents needed to expend, again, making this process easier and smoother. And because this form is primarily aimed at pulling in leads to Woodhull Wellness's pipeline, I think it's vital that they turn on data enrichment. When this feature is enabled, they are automatically going to get responses enhanced with third-party data. So if somebody enters their email address, it's going to cross-reference it with that third-party system, and it's going to pull in valuable insights such as industry, employee count, revenue range, and tons of other demographic information. This is going to help you with prioritizing your leads, and it's also going to improve that conversation once they schedule a call. With these tweaks, I am so confident that Woodhull Wellness is going to be well positioned to get their calendar filled. They're going to really build a strong pipeline, and they are going to gather so many high quality lead insights, all without overwhelming that first time user or creating any friction and making sure that this form gets filled out.
Thank you so much, Kenzie. I loved all the additional personal touches that you added to that. So just to quickly recap, Kenzie streamlined and consolidated those questions, added that video question for that extra personalization and kind of engaging a little bit more with clients that are filling out the form. Used the recall feature as well, again, for personalization. Applied the lead enrichment, which Liz has been dropping help center articles in the chat about, and tweak the design a little bit of some of the questions too. So you can check out all of the tuned up forms. Liz has been very kindly dropping everything in the chat so far. So hopefully this has been super useful. And I did see that Molly was in the chat as well. Hopefully this has been helpful for you and for everyone that's been tuned up. Awesome, that's great to hear. So we do have a teeny weeny little bit of time left. Does anybody have questions? Please pop them in the Q&A section if you do have any follow-up questions to what we've been talking about just now. And we're going to invite our tuners back up on stage quickly, just in case there are any final thoughts or anything that anybody has, if anyone has a burning question they want to ask. Welcome.
Yeah, so one question asked regarding subtitles available in the video. Kenzie, if you want to.
Definitely. Yes. Within the little module where I was showing that you could trim your video or select a thumbnail, you also have the option to turn on subtitles. So that's a really helpful feature.
Excellent. We have Susan's asking, how did you add the branding by pulling in the website? I think, James, you did that.
I did that one. Yeah, it's very easy. So if you go into the design option, there's, I think it, I can't remember what the button's called, but there's an option to just copy and paste your website in there, and it will automatically pull in the logo and the design, the sort of the color scheme as well. So yeah, actually, I hadn't used it a great deal in the past, and now I can't stop using it because it works. It's very, very effective.
Yeah, thanks, James. Definitely recommend everybody to use this and save you a lot of time. We also have a question from Shan regarding a quick recap of all the tips, because yes, that was full of tips and tricks. There's a recap email sent your way, correct?
Yep, 100%. We will be sending out tomorrow the recording of this session, so you'll be able to watch it back. And we will also include in our Typeform community post all the resources that we've talked about. So any of the Help Center articles and guides, anything like that. So you'll be able to watch it all back. And if you missed anything, kind of remind yourself, have a little bit of a refresher, because there was an awful lot going on there today. Some very good stuff. Yes. Awesome. Any more questions? We've got like 2 minutes left before we have to disappear, so drop them in the chat if you do.
Ask us something about the favorite tip. I don't know, Susie, what's your favorite tip to share with the Typeform user?
I think one thing I didn't mention in my tune-up, which I probably would have mentioned if I was able to do it again, would be the hidden fields. So because they use, Black Band uses HubSpot or whatever CRM tool you use, you can actually pull in data from that tool and pull it into your form. So you don't have to ask certain questions like name or email, because you'll already have that in the URL. So I would say the that's probably one of my biggest tips, is to use the information you already have in your form.
Love it.
Top tip. There's a quick question in the chat. If anybody has any tips for things to bear in mind when people are creating forms for mobile users. They have a lot of customers that are visiting the website from mobile devices. Just wondered if anybody has any thoughts on that.
I will say quickly that there is in the design tab, or when you're designing your form, you can actually choose between mobile and desktop layout. That's kind of a new-ish feature where you can actually change the way that images appear on mobile or on desktop. And I think that actually really helps with the completion rate on mobile because it looks a lot better.
And then usually one thing that people do when they do that on mobile is the focal point, because what's the focal point on your image? Sometimes it might be off, it's on mobile because you only see a small portion of it. So if you play with it, you put the focal point more on what matters for you.
Yeah, that's a top tip. And Phoebe's from our Help Center team has actually just dropped a really useful article into the chat that hopefully will help with creating mobile friendly forms and testing before publishing. Yes, Kenzie, that's always, well, you need to publish, but yeah, test it before you send it to anybody that, you know, is really important. Awesome. I think that might be all we have time for today. Thank you everyone so much for joining us.
Thanks to the tuners for tuning awesome forms. If you've been tuned, you will receive the final results. We'll send you all those tips directly to you. And then we're looking forward for our next event. As Grace said, recording is on the way.
That's right. We're also going to be asking you for feedback. So you'll be redirected to a feedback form. We would love it. We'd love to hear what you all thought of the session. And if there's anything that you have ideas for us to be doing in the future.
Stay tuned.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yes. And we'll see you again soon. And happy holidays. Thanks for joining.